Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Um, Richard is heading over and picking up our speaker, who's showing up here at the last minute. So, anyways, Clubhouse will be closed next week, December 27th for Christmas. January 13th, Doug Hansgate. This is going to be a live event. I guess from what I understand, from what Beverly tells me, we're going to have some models. I'm not sure how many. Um, Doug is going to talk about portraiture, and then he's actually going to do some editing of the portraits up front. You check out his website on the on our there's a link on our website page. Phenomenal portraits, phenomenal portrait artist. Going backwards. January 10th, print competition, people competition. January 17th, Susan Malinkovich, using compositional tools to create intimate landscapes. Darkroom door, articles are needed for the darkroom door. Last darkroom door that came out, there was not a single article from a club member. So I'm hoping we can do a little bit better this time. So if you have anything that you would like to write about, Deborah Willis would really greatly appreciate it. The deadline to get submissions in is January 15th. Winter school enrollment. Winter school enrollment is open. Fundamentals of Good Photography starts January 8th. Lightroom starts February 3rd. Photoshop starts January 4th. And correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, but Photoshop is now a 12-session class, I believe. And what they've done is they've combined intro to Photoshop and the second Photoshop class. So right now we're only teaching one Photoshop class. Mat cutting. I'm sure everybody's seen this slide ad nauseum. But I would highly encourage you, if you haven't attended the class, I did. It's well worthwhile. Single mats for $3, double mats for $5. It's a great bargain. You can't beat it. Looking for a treasurer and a competition chair. Bev Kevinworthy is going to step down, and I really need to get rid of this responsibilities for the competition chair. So please, come see me. Tonight's presentation, 50 years of shooting out of the box. Dr. James Rudick. Checked out his website. Very interesting photographer. Very eclectic, very diverse. So this should be an interesting talk this evening. Give us a few minutes while we get set up, and we'll be right with you. How you doing?
You're Dave, huh?
Yes, nice to meet you.
Likewise, hi.
Would you prefer a hand mic, or would you prefer something over your...
So I need a mic at all? Yeah, that's how it goes to home.
Oh,
I don't care. So we,
I have a hand mic, or...
it might be easier just one over the ears, and then you could use your hands just free.
Okay.
Right. So right now, as you can see from that side thing over there, right, everything.
This is gonna work. Let's see if I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, this ought to work.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're seeing it.
Oh, they see it up there?
Yeah, they see it there. The main screen here is it. And home. Yeah, and he'll hook you up to the, and that's how the people at home get to hear.
Here you go.
So I'll slip this. Test. Test, just give me a test.
Test.
Yep, works fine. Okay, and you could just kind of clip this onto the buckler, it's just so it's out of the way.
You're right. Yeah, I think we're all set, huh? This thing doesn't come off.
Introduce him there, and he's all set to go.
I can get this thing on there.
And I did not bring your bio, so maybe if you would just do a brief introduction of yourself,
Sure,
I would appreciate that.
it's
Thank
not
you.
a problem.
And so we're ready to get going. This is Dr. James Rudick. Go ahead and take it away.
Hello. I want to thank you guys for inviting me. I'm not even sure how I got here in the first place. I think Ian Oppenheimer gave someone the word that I actually talked to them in Akron at their photo club, so I guess that's why I'm here. And I'm impressed that you guys came out at all. And I got to the website, and I was really impressed with some of the contests that you've been having. You guys are really good. So, my bio. I'm a physician. I'm 74 years old. I've been photographing things ever since I can remember, so that's about half a century. And unlike most of you guys who are excellent technical photographers, I'm not. I have no no technical expertise in pretty much anything, but what I do, I'm sort of what they call a photographic omnivore. So anything that can attract light is basically I'll go for it. So this is a very eclectic, kind of loosely organized series of show and tell, basically. So what I'd like to do is show you some of the facets of photography that you may or may not be into, but I do most of my stuff for fun, and I still enjoy it. So there's a few categories that I'm going to talk about. Here, the first one is go up. The second one is get wet. Third one is go here or there. Next one is animate. Next one is get lucky. Next is exaggerate. Next is look up and think out of the box, and time warp, and paint with light and tell a story. So there's a lot of things that we can briefly hit on. And this should take about an hour, I'm guessing. There's sound for some of this stuff. I hope it works. So first I'm going to talk about going up. So I have a love affair with a drone. His name is Don Drone. I've had him for, 10 years or so. He's gone through 3 iterations and a whole lot of crashes. Only one was semi-dangerous when he almost hit the neighbor's dog when he decided he was done flying. But so basically, I see drone photography as a whole new facet of photography with it that previously was really inaccessible to anybody without a helicopter. It's another way of seeing the world. So here's a few pictures. This picture is the Lorraine Lighthouse at Christmas. You ever been up there? The lake was semi-frozen. The lighthouse is, this time of year, is all lit up for Christmas. And it's about a mile, not quite a mile, from the pier to the lighthouse. So, so I'm not sure you could get this photograph any other way, except flying out to it. And that's about the range of my drone, so I almost lost it on this shot. Oops, sorry about that. But here it is again. You can see the pier that's all lit up. That's where I was flying from. So it was a little scary, but I really enjoyed that shot. Someone else took a shot like this when the Northern Lights came out a few months ago. The same shot, almost, except from land. So you saw the lighthouse, and then you saw the Northern Lights, and that I would love to. We tried to go out one night when the lights were out, but we missed it. Okay, this is the Marblehead Lighthouse. This was taken early in the morning. You're allowed to fly certain hours there, so I respected that. So the drone was taken, the shot was taken right at sunrise. The sun's right behind the lighthouse, and that's how you got the lighting. It's also an HDR type shot. Whoops, wait a minute. I don't want to do that. Wait a second. Wait a minute. I'm way ahead of myself here. Hold on a second. I don't know how I'm going to do this. Bear with me. I'll start that again. Okay. This is probably my all-time favorite drone shot. It was taken from my house right after a thunderstorm during the golden hour, right about, right before sunset. So there was a big thunderstorm, and I knew there was going to be a rainbow. So I rushed out and took this picture right from my house at about 300 feet. And actually, it's a double rainbow, but I love this picture. It's my favorite shot of all time. So, okay. This is Mogador Reservoir. I was kayaking, and I thought, let me try to film myself from the drone as I was kayaking through Mogador Reservoir. So I wonder if I can make this louder. The music is nice. Hold on a sec. I'm having trouble with the sound.
You see if I get a bar
Yeah.
sound on our computer.
Yeah. Okay. I've never done this before. This was an experiment to try to keep the drone from getting wet. Thanks. This was taken about a month ago. Yes, it is. The drone can stitch, you can take 24 pictures and do a 360 and stitch it together, actually while it's still up in the air, and you can do some pretty cool things with it. Okay. If you guys have any questions or anything, please interrupt me. Yeah. It was on my lap. The control's on my lap, and I was trying to keep it dry. So, yeah, it was a little tricky. Yeah.
How water resistant is the drone?
Mine is not at all. Zero. There's some they make that are, though. Yeah. No, I didn't want to get it wet. You can fly it a little bit in the rain, but then you can't see where you're going, so I try not to do that either. Snow is okay. If it's light, like today might be a little challenging, but it'd be fun. Okay, let's see what's next here. There's no starlings harmed in the filming of this. All right, next. I love corn mazes. I go all over the place taking drones around corn mazes. So this is Zales up by Cuyahoga Valley. Actually, I got lost in this maze. It wasn't for the drone, I would still be out there. The rag music, it's called Kitten on the Keys. I forget who wrote it. You can see I had no idea where I was going.
You may have people in there to help you.
No, there's nobody there. Okay. Well, let's see what's next. Okay, underwater, I spent a lot of time scuba diving over the years. Unfortunately, my son, who now has a wife and 3 kids, was my diving partner, so I haven't been doing that for a while. But here's some underwater photography. This was taken in the Big Island of Hawaii. I was on a liveaboard dive boat, and it's near Kona, I think is where it was. There is a hotel there, and right off there, the hotel about 100 yards or so, people are snorkeling and they're looking down, and we're down below looking up from about 30 feet. And we have these dive lights, we're shining them up, and the snorkelers are shining the lights down, so there's a lot of light. And these monster giant manta rays, they're beautiful, intelligent animals, and they're filter feeders. So what they do is they see the light attracts the plankton, so they do these ballet-type movements in the water. It's absolutely beautiful. And if you're underneath it, you can see them doing that. I took this picture. It's not a very good picture. Some guy took a much better picture. That was the dive master. But if you ever get a chance to go to Kona, even snorkeling, I'm sure this would be a bucket list experience. I'm on the left with the mask and such, and the guy with the bubbles is my son Ben, and he doesn't quite look like that most of the time. This is another trip that was a blast to take. This was down in the Dominican Republic. Got a chance to go on a boat where you live on this boat on the Silver Bank, which is about 70 miles offshore, I think. And you live on this boat for about a week, and they take you on these little boats, and you chase pumpback whales, and they're down there. They're not feeding. They bred, and they have their young, and they're kind of chilling before they start their migration north, and they're just kind of hanging out. And we have permission from the government to actually get in the water with these animals. And you got to be real respectful, and you got to keep a distance. And there's a dive master that tells you exactly what to do. It's all snorkeling. It's not you don't go underwater, but you get the chance to see these things in their own environment. And they're all individual. You can see that different flukes have different markings, and that's how they identify them. And I took this from about I was snorkeling. This is I believe a large female, And there she is again. There she is again. Now, well, I was the guy in front of me is I believe, yeah, he's my brother-in-law. We were there together, and we were looking at this whale, and all of a sudden he started tugging on my fin and pointing down, and it turned out that there was a larger male right below me that was about 3 feet below me, and and they're really respectful of your space, and they won't contact you. They just don't. They know where you are, and if you approach them very cautiously, they tolerate you. If you make any sudden movements, they're gone. But this is a great experience. Okay, so next category is outside the spectrum. So, you know, we see visible light between 435 and about 625 nanometers. But the spectrum goes way beyond, as you know, on either direction. So you can do infrared and near-infrared photography, and you can use and ultraviolet as well. And of course, astronomers do infrared and radio and all this stuff as well. But it's easy to do infrared photography, and this is just a black and white infrared shot. A camera that was modified for 720 nanometers, which is in the near-infrared zone. And it does very funny things to light. In other words, you see the sky becomes dark because the sky absorbs infrared light, doesn't reflect it. On the other hand, the green leaves and so forth reflect it, and so you see white. So this is a black and white image. And you can do false color as well. I'll show you that in a minute. This guy was a Civil War reenactor in Zorro, Ohio, so that's an infrared shot of him. This was just, we were lining up on the runway at Hopkins to go someplace, and I had my infrared camera just shot out the window at the runway. This is another candid shot. Someone was practicing for a wedding in Boston. And this is the same Civil War reenactor with a little false color. The way to do false color with infrared, one way to do it is in Photoshop, you go to channels and you swap the red and the blue, and you can get funny colors. And it's not natural, but it's interesting. And here's one of, this is, I believe, Walborn Reservoir with that same technique, swapping the red and the blue channels. This is, I just had a black light. I shone it in my mouth with a mirror, and that's what I got. Kind of scary. Okay. Now this is also infrared, sort of. It's a trail camera, and you know, it's motion detection. So when it senses motion, it actually shines an infrared beam or flash that you can't see, and supposedly the animals can't either, and it records that. I suspect the animals can sort of see it because look at this. Yeah, this is a buck, and he was really interested in my camera. He must have seen it. So this is all in our backyard. But that was a coyote, the other one. Okay. Now, it's fun to do other things with photography. You can do animation. There's lots of ways to do that. The iPhones have a little feature called Live. Have you ever played with it? Where you can animate your pictures. But this is just I forget, this is called Mug Life, where I took a picture of my mother-in-law and did that with it. Kind of scary. This is Cindy, who's in the back there, and this is at Yellowstone. I just animated the steam coming off of the geysers with that technique. These are my great-grandparents who I've never met. Now, light painting is another thing that's fun to do. You know, there's lots of techniques to do that. I'm sure you've seen that, but I played with it a little bit. You get these little colored lights and pens and pendulums and bottles and strobes, and you play with it. So this is a friend of mine. He's not really green. This is Cindy, who's in the back with my saxophone. This is not animated. This is just a snow squall like today with just a simple flashlight. The snow was coming down pretty hard, straight down, so I just used a flashlight. And that was not altered in Photoshop. That was using one of those bottle techniques where you swing it around and you do a time exposure and you can create kind of orbs. That's our gazebo in the backyard. This is some more light painting that you can do. That was done at Nimisila Reservoir, that one. Same thing there. This is my favorite light painting. So this was steel wool. This was a night just like tonight. It was a squall, and we live in Canton, so there's a real spooky graveyard near our house. So I went to the graveyard, got some steel wool and lit it, and it's kind of dangerous if you're not careful. And then you swing it around, you do a time exposure, and then I had a flashlight and lit up the graves and lit up the snow. So I call that Helter Skelter. Okay, next category is just get lucky. You know, if you're in the right place and you have your camera, there's no excuse now. Everybody has cell phones, and I just got a new cell phone, one of those new iPhone 16s, and it does all kinds of cool things. It's got 3 different lenses and does all kinds of fun things that now that you have cell phones, there's no excuse not to take cool pictures wherever you are. So this is a lucky picture. I was just kayaking one morning at Wallburn Reservoir, and I saw this this heron in the fog. And there was a benefit for Brimfield, I think it was high school or middle school. It was a benefit, and they got these professional wrestlers to come down and help them make some money. So I got a front row seat with my black and white camera and caught that. We were in Ireland, Northern Ireland, a few months ago, and there's this area near Ballycastle, Ireland, called the Dark Hedges, which is it's just a street with these beautiful arc trees. It's about a quarter mile long, not quite that much probably, and it's famous because Game of Thrones, a few of the episodes was filmed here, so it got to be real famous, so people come all over the place to see this. And I didn't want to get anybody in the picture, so I waited until everybody was gone. It was starting to get dark, except for that one guy with the red shirt who happened to be walking there, and that's how I got lucky, because that made the shot. Here's another fun trip we took up in Canada to see polar bears. We got to spend a couple of days on this on the Hudson Bay, where they put you in. They take you in this vehicle, and you actually sleep there a night or two, and they take you out in like a bus to see these polar bears. What they're doing is they're waiting for the ice to freeze so they can go on the ice, what ice there is, and it hasn't frozen yet. You can pick them out. You can see them. So we're just driving around. And, this guy here, whoops, same date, looks a lot like our dog Izzy. It's a white golden, and I felt like I wanted to hug him, but maybe that wouldn't be such a great idea. Maybe lunch. This was a lucky shot as well. This is out of our our kitchen window. We have barred owls that come once in a while. So here he is just looking in on us, not really afraid of us or anything. I got to admit, the sun is not the sun. I stuck that light there. It's fake, but I thought it would be nice. So next thing you might want to think about is exaggerating your photographs, using different angles, different lenses, and so forth. Here's a couple examples. This was somewhere in Pennsylvania. We was driving on a windy road, and I got that effect by using a maximum zoom to exaggerate the curves. This was a llama. Our neighbors had a couple of llamas next door. Maybe, they're alpacas, I guess. And the snow wasn't all that big, but if you use a telephoto, it exaggerates the snow. So that's how I got that. Same thing there. And this, I just laying in the grass as a garter snake. You know, it wasn't going to bother me. And it's a telephoto to exaggerate the perspective. Okay. Another category of photography is 360. I don't know if you guys have ever seen any of those cameras, but they've been around for a while, and they're getting better and better. What they're 2 fisheye cameras back to back, and the software stitches everything together in the camera. So you've got a full 360-degree field of vision all the way around, and you can use software to modify it or to animate it and so forth. So it's really good with movies, and stills aren't bad either. So I'll show you some of that. So my dad is 99 years old. Every year for the last 20 years, I've taken him up in a hot air balloon. And this year was no exception. When he turns 100, I'm telling him this is going to be a one-way trip for him. So he's going to go out the basket. But anyway, this picture was taken with a 360 camera on a stick. So basically you have just like a selfie stick, and you stick it out there, and the camera sees all the way around. And the software will erase the stick itself. It knows how to do that somehow, and then you put it in the software program, and you can modify it. So that's one of our. Where did you get the hot air balloon? There's a guy that's really a good pilot. We've known him for 20 years, and he's the only guy I trust. He can land the thing on a postage stamp, and yeah, he knows us real well. So it's sort of an event. We get all dressed up for it, you know. So it's near Ravenna area, Talmadge. He has a couple different places he launches from. That's usually from the Talmadge area, and he goes where the wind blows. So usually you go for about an hour. So, and there's a chase balloon, a chase car, and it's about an hour. So you're covering anywhere from 0 to 20 miles, depends on the wind. But yeah, try it. It's certainly worth doing. Let's see here. This is my house. Listen to this. So what you do, you wait for a really, really cold day, like below 0, and you take a pot of hot water, boiling water. You go out and you throw it up in the air, and the water immediately crystallizes, like immediately. And so if you do it right and you don't get hit by it, you can come up with some good effects. This is a 360 camera that I'll do it again if I can. Wait a minute. Oh, I can't. Wait a minute. Yeah, try it again. The sound is fake. I couldn't get the sound to work right, so I imported a file of glass breaking and stuck it in there. Okay, let's see what's next. Oh, okay. So there's a tulip farm that's near our house, so I thought I'd tiptoe through the tulip with the 360 camera. It's like this. I think we had to pay $10 to have the privilege of doing this. That's not going to win any contests, I don't think. Okay, let's see what's next. This was last Christmas at Hartville. Walking through there at Hartville Square, they had a Christmas display. Oh, sorry. Trying to get out of this. There we go. These cameras aren't very expensive either, they're about $300. And then the software comes with it, so you can do all this stuff. This is a mountain bike trail near my house. I'm not a very good mountain biker, but I stuck it on the bike anyways just to see what would happen. It's not really as scary as it looks. Okay, enough of that. Okay, thanks. Okay, this is been getting into astrophotography. In the old day, I always liked astronomy, but I was amazed by some of the amateur photographers that were using film and old techniques and getting amazing pictures. And I thought, well, geez, I live in Canton. There's no way to get good photography there, except here comes the digital revolution, and it turns out that if you do it right, you don't need to put a lot of money into it, but it's totally fascinating. So some of the pictures I'm going to show you were taken from my front porch using a Celestron 9 1/4-inch telescope or a setup with a star tracker and a very fast 120 millimeter lens. That's all you. And the cameras are modified for astronomy. In other words, they take out the IR blocking filter and they put their own filter in that is more specific for astronomy, especially hydrogen alpha, which is sort of a red area where you can pick up nebulosities and so forth that you otherwise wouldn't even see. So the cameras are modified. It costs a couple $100 to modify a standard SLR camera, or you can buy a used one for $500-600. So here, this was not taken with anything fancy. This was just taken in Iceland with a tripod. No tracking, actually. It was just a 20-second exposure. Of course, this is a good year for the Northern Lights, as you know. We were there in Iceland about a year ago, and so October. Is that right, Cindy? September. Yeah. 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 This is another one. This was taken in Norway a few years ago. We went to the tip of Norway, a little tiny place. We stayed there, and then we found out you could stay in a snow hotel not far from there. So we go to this place. It's a hotel made completely out of ice by these ice sculptors from Harbin, China. And they come there, in 2 weeks they build this thing that has 26 rooms, 25 rooms, and they're sculpted. And the theme was Disney. So our room was Mickey and Minnie Mouse, not heated. So you stay overnight in this thing, and they give you like a wooden plank to lay on. They give you a sleeping bag, a military-grade sleeping bag. You're supposed to sleep in that thing. And it's about 20 degrees inside these things. And so they gave Cindy a water bottle, which kept her sleeping all night, nice and comfy. I was up all night drinking coffee. But anyway, they take you out to see the northern lights, if the weather's permitting, on dog sleds. And so you can see there's the dog, and they take it, right at sunset, they take you out there, and you get to see the lights. And they take you out to this place here, which is, it's called a lavu, which is a tent, a Laplander's tent. They give you something to eat, and then they put you back on the dog sled. I was lucky because, no, it's good, because there was a musher, and there was me sitting in the back, and Cindy was in the front, and the 5 dogs were kicking their you-know-what right in her face, and I didn't get it, so I was happy about that. But yeah, that's a wonderful place to go. I mean, it was just totally cool experience not sleeping in that place. Okay, so this was taken, again, in Iceland. This is last year. We were in the western part of Iceland. Okay, this was taken not with the telescope, with my regular camera, with a special filter that is specific for nebulae. But it's a tracked, it was, I would say this picture took about an hour of 20-second exposures that were stacked together and processed. This is the North America Nebula near Cygnus, near Cygna, and it's a very famous star-forming area, maybe 1,700 light years from us, approximately, about 100 light years in diameter. It's called the North America, not North American Nebula for various reasons. As you can see, it's a pretty good facsimile of our continent. And if you look to the right, that's called the Pelican Nebula, if you can see that. But this was also taken from our front porch. And, 20 years ago, I'd never thought it would be possible to do this with a simple camera. The tracker itself is called a Star Venture tracker. It tracks the sky. It costs about $300, and you just set it up, you aim it to the North Star, and you turn it on, and it'll track the sky. This was taken about a month ago. The Pleiades is, you know the Pleiades. It's a very famous asterism. These stars are bright, they're giant blue stars. They're only a few million years old. They're baby stars. Our sun is maybe several billion years. These stars are a few million years old, and you can see that it's called a reflection nebula. In other words, the light is being reflected through stellar gas. So these stars are passing through a gas cloud in the Milky Way. So that's why, and it lights up, the light lights up the gas, and that's why it looks like that. This is the famous Whirlpool Nebula, Whirlpool Galaxy, really. It's a galaxy about 25 million light years from us. A light year is 6 trillion miles. Multiply that by 20 million, and that's how far it is. It's a long walk. And it's actually 2 intersecting galaxies. And I think recently they discovered that some of these stars within this galaxy may have planets. It's the first one ever described in another galaxy. So it's pretty cool. This you can almost see with the naked eye under really, really clear skies. At least with binoculars you probably could see it. This is the Orion Nebula. It's probably the most famous thing in the sky. You can see that with your naked eye as well. And it's a huge area of gas and star formation in Orion. If you look at Orion, you see Orion has 3 stars in a belt, and then below the 3 stars is the sword of Orion the Hunter. So it's the middle star in the sword is where this Orion Nebula sits, so you can see it with binoculars.
So going back to the picture before, what kind of lens are you using to get?
That was taken with my telescope.
From where?
That was taken from my front porch. It was taken with a 9¼ inch Schmidt-Cassegrain telescope, Celestron. It costs about more than that, $1,500 for the telescope, something like that. It's not that much. Yeah, and it's coupled with the camera that has the modification. That picture was taken over an hour or two, probably. It was stacked and processed in Photoshop. It's called, let's see, not Image Stacker. There's AstroStack, Image Stacker, there's another one. I forget which one it is that I'm using. I'll remember it in a minute, but it's one of those. It's a pretty cool program. I'll tell you in a minute, I'll find it. Okay, so this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. Okay, this is M101, which is the Pinwheel Nebula. It's also probably one of the closer galaxies to Earth. There's a few that are within 20 or 30 million light years. I don't know how far this one is. But the interesting thing about this is in May of last year, a Japanese astronomer discovered a supernova within the galaxy. And that doesn't happen very often. I think there was another one 5 years previously, but it's a big event to see it. And the fact that you can actually see it with an amateur telescope is totally amazing. So there it is. It's 2023 IXF with the arrow there. I have another picture taken of the same galaxy the year before, and it's not there. And it lasted a few months, now it's gone. It's a type 2 supernova. There's different kinds of supernova. The type 2 is where a giant star collapses on itself, and in a big bang, it creates so much light sometimes that outshines the rest of the galaxy. So that's I never thought I would see that. Okay, so then, everybody knows what that is, right? That's Andromeda, which is the closest galaxy to us. It's only about, let me think if that's right, 2.5 million light years from us. It's our companion galaxy that's supposed to eat us up in the next few billion years. Maybe it will. It has several companion galaxies. You can see two of them right now that are interacting with it. Andromeda is slightly larger than our own galaxy. Yes? Yeah, we're going to probably merge with this galaxy not within our lifetime, maybe our grandkids. No, I'm kidding. So, I don't know when it's going to merge with us, but we're heading in that direction, yeah.
And how far away is it?
I think it's 2.5 million light years away. Yeah, I think that's how far it is. I might be wrong. Yeah, it's a long walk. This was just taken, the way I took this picture, oops, wait a minute, of Jupiter, was with the webcam. And so the way to take pictures of planets, it's different because planets, if you look at a planet through a telescope, it's gonna vary in intensity, and it's gonna get blurry and so forth depending on the atmospheric turbulence. So you're never gonna get that looking at anything like that looking through the telescope. But what you do is you take a movie with a webcam, and then what you do is you put it through another program that filters out the bad parts and keeps the good parts, basically, and then you modify it through different software, and you try to get it as clear as you can. So this is probably the best picture I've ever taken of Jupiter with a webcam. So, okay.
Are you still using a telescope?
That was with the telescope, yeah. That one was, yeah. Okay, did you guys get to see the eclipse this year? Okay, well, this was the year to see it for sure. We happened to drive to Mansfield because that was right on the center line and there was nobody there. So basically, and if I can show you a couple things, I'll take you through this. This is just a video I made. There weren't too many people in Mansfield. Every place else was mobbed, but Mansfield, there's maybe 100 people there. There are a dog and Cindy. Everybody has their glasses on, right? So here's what happens. If you look closely, you see those real red areas on the rim. Those are solar prominences because it's a solar maximum year. So the sun is very active, and these prominences are visible. And other eclipses, you wouldn't see that. And that's the corona, the hottest part of the sun. The totality was about 2.5 minutes in Mansfield this year. So it's a magic thing to watch. It really changes your whole outlook on life sometimes. So then, now it's getting light again. But I'm going to show you the same thing from a different perspective in a minute here. See how it gets dark and the city lights come on? Now, daylight is returning. So that was taken with the tracking device that I told you about. But then I set that 360 camera up as well and just let it run, and I sped it up. So here it is that way, if I can make that work. The secret is you got to keep the aperture constant. Don't let it adjust itself. So we've seen about 4 of these eclipses over the years, and they're all different. And the cool thing about eclipses, the chance of seeing another one like this in this area, if you live another 30 or 40 years, you might get a chance. But it turns out there's eclipses all over the world, probably once a year somewhere. And some of the places are pretty exotic. So we've been to the outback in Australia, and we've been to Turkey. The other one was in Wyoming a few years ago. That wasn't so exotic, but it lets you travel pretty cool places, so it's fun to chase these things. So, let's see, next. What's next? That's my favorite eclipse picture. It's on the wall. This was comet Neowise, which is a comet that was very bright about 4 or 5 years ago, maybe? I forget exactly when. And I just happened to take it up to Geauga County, and there's this Catholic retreat, Sisters of Mary's, or I think it's called, I forget, where they have this 50-foot statue of the Virgin of Guadalupe. So I went there and did this time exposure and had the comet in the background. She's about 50 feet high. She was built by some sculptor in Texas who did theme park sculptures like Godzilla and stuff. So the guy that ran the Catholic retreat decided he wanted a big virgin and got this guy to build this thing. Is it Geauga or Ashtabula County around there? Yeah, I forget the name of the town. Oh, Windsor, you're right, that's where it is, yeah. It's a cool place to go. And the guy's real friendly. He'll let you go there anytime. Okay, so this is just think out of the box. In other words, take pictures of things that other people might not want to. Or just if you see something, grab it. So, okay, this is Izzy, our dog. He's a golden retriever. He's now 12 and a half years old. When he was a puppy, I got him one of those online from Amazon, got one of those lion manes he could wear, and I stuck it on him. And this is a composite picture. So here he is sitting in front of a door that's sort of mirrored. And the other picture of the lion, it's actually him as a puppy. I threw a treat up in the air. He ran up and he grabbed it. I had his mouth was wide open, so I made him into a lion. So the theme of this picture is working on his self-esteem. So anyway, that's that. This was taken in Panama, I believe. This is a female barbet, a bird. And they were feeding these birds bananas. I said, there's something wrong with this picture. So I got that and captioned it that way. Yeah. Okay, this is Nimisila Reservoir, which is a magic place near here. You ever been there? It's one of the Portage Lakes, the southernmost of the Portage Lakes. And for the last at least 10, maybe 15 years, it's been a spot for purple martins. So basically, these birds, around August, before they fly south, before they migrate, they stage themselves in certain places. And this is one place they go where they show up about 20 minutes after sunset in these little grass islands in the middle of the lake. And they kind of roost and relax and do whatever they do, fatten up so they can go south. And they're there for about a month or so. But then they come in amazing numbers. So there were about 15,000 of these or so when this started, when I first saw them about 10, 15 years ago. There are not so many as there anymore, because I think they're moving on. This picture was taken this year, though, and the way it was taken was I just took a movie, just a regular film, and I took each individual frame, 20-second long, and I stacked it in Photoshop. That's all. And so that's why it looks like that. But if you go there and you look up, it's pretty amazing. These birds are all over the place. Just wear a hat. Okay, so this is just, a drive-by shooting. So's that. That was on the New Jersey Turnpike or something. I felt bad. I'm a vegetarian, so I felt bad about that. Okay. And this was taken at the Clark Museum in Williamsburg, Massachusetts. And this guy was just looking at this painting, and I thought, what is wrong with this picture? So I framed it that way. I have no idea who the guy was or who the picture is. Cindy's a good cook. She uses a lot of ginger, so we buy stacks of ginger in the grocery store, and I thought I'd put a face on this one. Same here, I believe. I was just screwing around with my, just taking some shots in my hand. I thought this might turn into an Escher thing, so I tried that. I play cello, but not very well, so you can see why. Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, Cindy and our dog Izzy look pretty much the same, so I fused them together in this picture. This has a story. We're in Yellowstone, and we're just sitting by the road, and here comes a grizzly bear from across the field, coming right at us. And so I wanted to get the picture, but I didn't want to get eaten, so I stood by the door with the door open, watched this guy go right across the street, right in front of us, and kept on walking. The sign was a speed limit sign, but my dad has jokes for everything, and his joke is there's two bear hunters going down the road. They see a sign that says bear left, so they go home. So that's what that's from. I just modified the sign. Okay, now we're going to play with time a little bit. These are lotus flowers from Nimisila Reservoir over about 2 or 3 days. They open and close about 3 times before they die. Sad, right? What's it doing? Okay. Time goes backwards too. All right. This is the Hall of Fame parade in Canton. I'm the guy in yellow. All right. This is I just took the drone up above my house on a foggy day, took it a couple 100 feet up. It's at sunrise. Okay, last, photography is always best if it has a story behind the picture. So this is a story that, just watch it. It's on my birthday. Cindy took me here. Is it Valley City, Cindy, where this was? Frog jumping contest. So, that might be all I have today. I think that's pretty much the presentation, so I'll get the lights here. And I remember that stacking program is called Deep Sky Stacker. It's free. Deep Sky. Yeah. Yeah. Any questions or anything? Thanks. Unfortunately, yeah. The city doesn't get any sleep.
Here, if you would mind taking that?
Oh.
Answering questions?
Oh, yeah, okay. Anything else, guys?
Any other questions?
Yes, sir.
Hold on, Joe. Chris, would you pass that back?
What program did you use to add the music to your videos?
Let's see, the videos, I just have a standard video editing program and you can import. Oh, is this not working? I have a standard video editing program, I forget the name of it, but you can just import audio clips. And I have a lot of music and stuff, and it's probably what I did was illegal if you're going to put it on YouTube. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, you can import video clips into any program. Yeah.
So what's the learning curve for flying a drone?
You have to crash it about 3 or 4 times before you're allowed to fly it. In other words, I would get a cheap drone for $50 that doesn't have any kind of automatic features and learn how to fly it. Oh,
That one's a little better.
okay,
Hold
you
it
learn
up.
how to fly it, and if you crash it, you should crash it a few times because that's how you learn, and then you only allowed $50 or so. Then buy yourself a nice one. Yeah. Because they all have GPS, and they have some great features if you know how to use it. There's a button you can push that's sort of like a panic button where it'll come right back to you, and I've used it enough. It'll land on a dime. But don't start with that. Learn how to fly it first. And then learn all the rules of places you can fly and you can't fly. And then if there's some place that's perhaps questionable, you're not sure, then what you do is instead of asking permission, you ask forgiveness. Yeah. Yeah. Anything else, guys?
Any other questions?
Thanks for coming out. You guys are brave.
Very, very creative. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
good. Should be a power plug there.
Yes, I'll unplug the power plug here.
All right.
Yeah, no, that worked for us.
Amazing. Wasn't expecting it to.
Oh, no, we take care. There we go.
So you have a YouTube channel, huh?
Yeah, YouTube channel. Actually, it's a public YouTube channel, so you're able to, our website, you said you looked at our website?
Yeah, I've seen your website.
In the upper right corner of the, CPS.
So do you know Ian Oppenheimer?
Yeah,
Yeah, because
Yeah.
he's apparently the reason I'm here.
yeah, I used to talk to him when I was president. The other time, I used to talk with him about things, and I gave a talk down
Yeah,
there.
because I was down there about a month ago.
So this is,
Oh, okay.
oops, no, wait, that's the CPS website. Where did I put the, one of these is the icon.
Yeah,
for-
Ian's
There it
a-
is,
a
CPS
member of our
website.
club now also, and
Oh, is he?
he's
Okay.
going to help us with arrange speakers, so.
Oh,
So
is that what
Beverly
that-
was speaking to you, but Ian's going to start
Oh,
helping
I
Beverly.
see.
When you go to our website, our main page, there's a YouTube icon up here.
Oh, is that what that is?
That's the, yeah, the little play button is the YouTube icon.
Yeah.
You press that, brings you to the YouTube channel, and then the only thing you have to remember is to click live.
Oh.
That, on that, and live gives you all of our things. We'll have an image there, but that's you tonight.
That's me,
The
huh?
thing is still, it'll be you, right?
When I
That's
get
last
home
week.
tonight, I'll put a
Right, that's our
little
last week.
thumbnail over
So
the top
that
of
any of our
that.
members, right, you're able just to go to the website then and watch your presentation on there. So, yeah, so it's a nice setup that we're able, and we do Zoom talks. We put that on a members-only portion of our website too. So we get these Zoom speakers from all over the country who are really good. So it's, yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Join your club.
Yeah, we have because you'd be able to enter things in the competition, the photo journal, and all those kind of things as well. Like I said, we have a lot of
I'm
members.
in Cuyahoga Valley.
Yeah.
They look at nature and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, anyway.
but we have fun.
Yeah, I had a blast.
So thanks for
Good.
coming
Thank
then.
you.
Good
All right.
meeting you.
You
Take
too.
care.
Bye-bye.
Drive safe.
Did real well. He was really good.